honored to be here and moderate the next panel. It will be the second session, and we will be talking about circular cities. Why about cities? On a global scale, cities use about 1% of land, only 1%. However, they house more than half of the population globally. And in Europe, it's even 75% of the European population. We see this increasing urbanization. The share of population living in the cities will increase, and it is expected to increase up to 70% globally. And in Europe, it will be even 85%. As a consequence, many cities suffer from emissions to air, to water, noise, and congestion. And there is a huge need for change. So how business, how administration, municipalities, and NGOs can effectively lead the green revolution in Polish cities. And today with me, I will be talking with my honored guest. Let me introduce Ms. Isabella van den Bosch from Fortum, Hans Christiansen from the city of Copenhagen, Lars Ibsen from, from Stena Recycling Poland. And also we have Fredrik Lange-Fjell from Slum Rensing. And last but not least, Mr. Piotr Woźniakowski from National Center for Climate Change, Krajowy Ośrodek Zmian Klimatu. Welcome, and I hope we'll have a fruitful discussion. So let me start asking question to Isabella. We know that cleaner and highly efficient and emission-free energy system are necessary to build any sustainable city. The perfect waste is zero waste, but anyway, we know that vast majority of the municipal solid waste is still coming from consumer goods, and most of it is being landfill dumped or incinerated. So knowing what is Fortum doing and how is it operating, is waste to energy an option for now, as we are not recycling as much as we should be?
Thank you. Thank you for this question, and welcome everyone. Yes, waste to energy is definitely an option, and it's a must. It's I would say it's an integral part of any advanced waste management system. If you think about what you can do with waste, and if you read the EU directive, the first thing it says is that you need to prevent creating waste. And that is something that we have to learn, that we have to accept, and that we have to sort of make part of our life. So prevention is the first thing. But then if we can't prevent, and we will still create waste, we will have to think of how to reuse this waste and how to recycle the waste. So that's the second step, and that's sort of second level in the EU hierarchy. But then we can't reuse and recycle everything. So we have to think how we are going to recover what is left from what we cannot reuse or recycle, and then how we can dispose the rest of it. Waste to energy is part of the recovery solution. So we are trying to recover energy from waste. And as I said, if you cannot recycle and reuse, is it better to landfill waste, or is it better to do as much as possible from what there is? So recover energy and any metals, for instance, that we can also recover in waste to energy plants. I believe it's better to recover, and we all believe that as long as we will create as much municipal waste as we are creating today and will be creating for another decade to come, we need to have waste to energy plants in any cities that we want to live in a smart and a clean way. And to give you examples, lots of people feel that recycling is competing, or that waste to energy is actually competing with recycling, which is totally not the case. If you look at the European examples, you have wherever the recycling rates are the highest, which is, for instance, Austria, Germany, Netherlands, you have waste to energy plants there, and they are also very high rates of waste to energy, so recovery of heat and energy from waste. So it's not competing, it's sort of a supplement, and it goes hand in hand with recycling. And it will always do as long as we create waste, and there will be elements of waste for, as I said, decades to come if we talk to technology producers or packaging producers. There will be lots of waste coming our way, which we will have to do something with. And then the choice is whether we dispose or whether we recover whatever there is that we could.
I think we have some connection problems with Isabella. So let's see, and hopefully she will connect with us again. So maybe while talking about waste to energy, I would like to ask a question to Hans. City of Copenhagen, I think one of the most beautiful and also green cities in Europe. And definitely we can learn from you a lot thinking about the green revolution within Polish cities. And you are using a lot of waste to energy as a district heating network in the city of Copenhagen, but at the same time being a leader, a pioneer in being green city. Copenhagen has the ambition to become a zero carbon city in 2025. I think it's a challenge, and it sets further requirements for the waste management. As for most materials, there are overall savings in CO2 when we recycle instead of leading waste to incineration. So what and how do you want to achieve it? To do it, in fact.
And I can start taking up the line from Isabella. In Denmark, we have had waste incineration for the last 50 years or something like that. And in the beginning, it was just to get rid of the amount of waste. And then it was because we had the problem with landfills around. And then it was decided we have to recover the energy, as Isabella also talked about. So in fact, today, when you look at the incineration plants, we have an energy efficiency up to 75% because we both have electricity production and district heat production. And the last thing have been one of the big issues in Greater Copenhagen area too, that we have waste incineration plants on the district heating system. And that was when we started talking about climate plans back in 2005 to 9. That was one of the key issues, that we consider waste incineration as a carbon neutral way of doing it, if we got the plastics out of the waste stream. And now we have learned something more, and now it's not the same. So we have to find new ways to do it. And that's part of it, that you need to have, for us to see, you need to have a comprehensive waste management planning. But you also at any time need to be very agile in it, because what you think one day will in 1 year or 5 years be wrong. So you have all time have to be agile to be able to change your systems and so on. And that part of it. And look at new energy sources, wind, sun, whatever.
Okay, that's very interesting, and definitely I think that's the way of thinking that is not competing, but it's something that is, parallel, but still having in mind what to be achieved with regards to recycling. I think it's something that we have to remember, that it's not the way of just getting rid of the waste that is collected. But if I can switch to Lars, we know that cities' waste management system is not just about municipal waste. Cities are not just homes to citizens, but also they are homes to cluster, to business, to industries, and a lot of going on within the cities, just next to the places where we all live as citizens. So how can circular business model support the circular transformation within the cities? Is it possible to cooperate within the cities and, for example, clusters and industries?
Because of two reasons, the industries are very important to take into account. Is that one is they generate a lot of waste, very big volumes. The industries. The other point is that at the industries we have a much better chance to segregate the different kind of waste materials at the source. Much better chance compared to municipal waste, where the collection chain is a little longer. So that enables us as Stena Recycling to work very closely with industrial clients in order to educate them how to sort their wastes into better materials and more clean. We say more clean materials. It means more types of waste materials, so that the chance to recycle or reuse the material again increases. Compared to previous years, we have much more attention now on collaborating between more industries when we look at the environmental footprint of products, and when we look at recycling, because it's not enough just to think of as a manufacturer. It's not enough just to think about your own production, because some of the products you make maybe cannot be used in your own products, or some of the materials of your product can be reused and recycled into your own product, but a big part of it can be recycled or reused into other types of products. And that's where we more and more frequently the last years have close collaborations, not only with one industry or one manufacturer, but also with other manufacturers in order to close the loop. It requires more people engaged, and that's a very fascinating thing today. You have to look into create a circular economy. You have to look into the total value chain from design of the product. So you design the product so it is using more recycled material, raw material than virgin material. You design the product so that it can be recycled in an easier way or reused even. I think a good example of that is a recent cooperation we had with Electrolux about vacuum cleaners. Electrolux, together with Electrolux, we supported them in manufacturing a complete vacuum cleaner for your household of recycled and 100% from recycled raw materials or reused components. And there we, because of we handle hundreds of thousands of tons of electronic waste per year. So we were able actually to take out specific Electrolux vacuum cleaners, a specific model of all the waste we have. So in a relatively short time, we could take out a large amount of Electrolux vacuum cleaners from the waste. And that enabled Electrolux to analyze these end-of-life vacuum cleaners and see what components could be reused. And actually, up to 25% of the engines still had 80% of their lifetime back, so they could be reused in a new vacuum cleaner. But also a very close cooperation with Electrolux, Stena Recycling, and their suppliers of plastic components in how we could recycle and the plastic components from this vacuum cleaner. So that is a collaboration where we looked at the full value chain in order to create a circular economy around that product. But it cannot be done alone. You have to cooperate. And of course, I think a big change when you look at the products compared to the past is, in the past, manufacturers of products, they were hiding that they used recycled raw materials because it was seen as a lower quality and a way to save money from the consumer side. But today, more and more consumers demand that the products are manufactured by recycled raw materials, or that the products can be recycled or reused. So I think that is a very positive trend in consumer behavior. But there the cities again can help push and motivate citizens to change our behavior in order to be more positive and even demand reuse and recycling of material. And at the end, I would like to say, I confirm what Isabella and Hans said, that recycling and waste incinerating is not a competition. It's a cooperation, and we need close cooperation with companies also like Fortum in Poland in order to handle all the waste we get in and optimize the environmental footprint. Again, looking at the total value chain. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very important point about the collaboration. I think that many of the corporates, many of the big companies had gone to the limits of what they can save or how they can deal in order to have less waste. So any other step needs to be done in collaboration within the whole value chain, and the value chain and the elements of value chains needs to be seen by the specific entities that are within. However, we know it's very difficult. I mean, it's not, I would say, our normal business model. We usually think about ourselves as a business, and now we need to make this change. So thank you, Lars. This is definitely a very, very important point. But thinking about other resources, I mean, waste is something that we usually tackle upon when we are thinking about cities, because this is a huge challenge. But we have within the cities also challenges regarding, for example, water and the water pollution, the sewage system. So I would like to ask question to Fredrik. With regards to the water pollution and the impact of different investments, for example, so large scale investments like road projects or any other capex projects, building construction industry, all this when it's done within the city is often it's quite often also with the significance of the environmental pollution, also aquatic pollution. So is it a way, or how right now cities can deal with a new way of more safer way of doing such investments in order to keep the environment and the water mostly more safe?
Yes, hello everyone. We know that the cities are growing extremely, and there are a lot of focus and talk on energy, pollution and waste, but also we have to have focus on the water. To build this green city, water is a very important component. There are lack of water. The water start to get expensive, and the groundwater level are changing in a bad direction. And the regulation are stricter and stricter because of these reasons. And the water have also should also be recycled in a bigger way. And also the regulation in Europe now is, if we look at the seawall, on projects that are more than 200 million euro, there are you have to have a energy look at the energy production and also the recycling of the water. And what we are into so far, that's we have the water cleaning plant in Norway, and most of the water cleaning plants, they are in the city. I think it's approximately 15 we have so far, and that goes to tunneling, where this boring machine produce a lot of water. The water had to be cleaned before it goes to a river or the official net or a lake inside the city. And the next is the building pits. This is building pits, big one that when it's raining, the building pits gets water into it, and it can also come water from underneath. And this water also have to be cleaned. What we have succeeded in Norway is to cooperate with the big companies, because water cleaning is difficult, and it's necessary to cooperate with the big companies. So because of this, the success we have had in Norway with for example, we are cooperating with Skanska especially, and Veidekke, and Metrostar, and also Acciona. So therefore we have done some research the last year in Europe, and we think there is a need for the cities to have some of the same system in other European cities. Yeah, so that's maybe the main answer to your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Fredrik. Yeah, so just thinking about potential benefits that cities can have where they are looking and thinking about being more circular. I have a question to Piotr Woźniakowski. Piotr, can you in a nutshell say what are the biggest opportunities that are created by circularity and by implementing the idea of circular economy into the cities?
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for your question. It's a pleasure to be here in this discussion. And just before I answer your question, I just wanted to also maybe underline and throw into the discussion the main element of the circular economy, which I'm usually focusing on, which is waste prevention. And that's also something that Isabella mentioned before. And as we speak here about waste and recycling, I would like to focus more on reusing materials in order to prevent waste production. So just as a start, and just answering your question, what are the potential economic, social, and environmental benefits created by the circular cities? Maybe I can start with the economic benefits. And I would say that definitely lower waste production, that we produce less waste, definitely can lead to lower waste management prices. And that's the case in Poland right now, that a lot of waste is being produced, but there are not so many facilities that can handle the waste properly. And that's why the prices of waste management are rising. And so there are two ways: we can either build more recycling facilities or waste management facilities, which is very much needed. And there is also the other way of waste prevention actions, which are also necessary to be taken. So those two paths. And there's another economic benefits that I would say are also very important is the new business models that are arising together with the concept of circular cities. And it's the new business models such as repairing services with products that we are trying to prevent from go to waste. There are many repairing services that can arise from that. And that's also based on the right to repair law that kind of puts really a pressure on producers to produce products that can be repaired and thereby avoid waste production. And also there is another business model that can also be new thanks to circular economy. It's the designing products in a way that it can be repaired, and also design products from the new materials such as secondary raw materials. And I think there is a huge area for innovation for materials and for new business models, for new startups to arise. And so going to another set of benefits, which is social benefits of a circular city, I would say maybe that's also something what Lars said before. It's the connection between different companies, between people, because that's essentially what circular economy is about connecting companies, connecting people to exchange materials, information. Some companies can produce waste that in other companies, this waste can be used as a material to produce new products. So this kind of industrial symbiosis and cooperation, that's definitely a social benefit. Also, sharing than owning, that's also a concept that goes together with the circular economy models, is that we don't own the products, but we share. And so that can also be, I would say, motivation to build communities around sharing products rather than just owning them. And of course, circular city is the livable city. And that's the goal of the circular city concept, is that it's livable, which means that it's walkable. It's also bike friendly or bikeable. I don't know if that's the word. That also the noise is reduced and pollution are much more reduced as well. So yeah. And the third one, which is environmental benefits, definitely lowering greenhouse gas emissions by avoiding landfilling. I think that's the very important element, because as we know, a lot of methane is being emitted from the landfill. So when you avoid sending waste to landfill, you avoid greenhouse gas emissions. And also by recycling, of course, and reusing, you avoid producing new products from virgin raw materials, which also can avoid a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. By avoiding the primary raw materials production. And of course, in Poland, there is a problem with waste in the forest around different cities. So that could also help to solve that problem. If you put a price on waste, then you can avoid waste being disposed or dumped in illegal spaces like forests. And I think that's an important case in Poland. Of course, clean air, that's related to for example, burning waste on the illegal dumps. And then the last one is increased climate resilience, which I think is very important, because when you build a circular city that it's kind of an independent from the external value chains, that makes the city more independent and more resilient to climate change, to different social changes and economic changes. So I think it's also very important to underline, talking about the climate resilience, that circular city definitely help to build a climate resilient city. And that's it from me for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Piotr, for a very comprehensive answer. I think you tackled several important issues over here, but since we are really short of time, this panel is a little bit shorter because of the previous one. However, I would like to ask to all of you one question, and I would like to ask you to have a very short answer, like in 1 minute. For you, what does it mean, a smart circular city? How would you define it from the perspective of your entity, of your company? And Isabella, hopefully your connection will be better time and you won't be cut. So if you can please in a few words say, what does it mean for you? We cannot hear you. Oh, okay. Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Now,
okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I hope. Yes, I hope I will be able to say what I want to say before I'm cut. What I wanted to say is that for me, smart city is about smart people. It's about smart solutions available, and it's about smart management, education, and sort of being together in a smart way at all levels. So smart people, when you have smart people who make smart choices with whatever they do with their waste, however they go to work, whatever transport they use, whatever energy company they use, however they decide to heat their homes. This is all the choices that we make in everyday life. Then if the smart people have smart solutions, such as low emission transport, such as passive houses, such as waste to energy plants where they can sort of reuse their waste, or where the waste that they cannot do anything with can be still reused, and when they don't have to dump the waste to the landfills, let alone forests and other places that were mentioned. And when they have when they could cooperate with energy producers, for instance, allowing them to use the energy that they have available in the most efficient way through virtual power plants, for instance, or where the industry could, for instance, sell heat to heat producers instead of or reducing the need for producing heat from other sources. So when you have smart heat networks, open district heating networks, and when it's all combined with the management, with local governments understanding the complexity of the issues and being able to provide all the solutions or facilitate all the thinking, that I think is a smart city, and that's something that where I would like to live. And I think with some of you mentioning the trend for people to move to the cities, I think that's the kind of cities that people will in the future select. They would not want to live in those cities where the air is not clean, where the water is polluted, where you have emissions. I think that will not be a conscious choice. So I think that's the aim that we should all have in the back of our heads. If I can just add one more sentence, because there is I got interrupted, and you all mentioned that waste to energy plants. There is still a lot of misunderstanding about waste to energy plants and misconceptions, and I wanted to say just to add two things, that even if we keep recycling things, they will get too old to be recycled in the end, and there are all still recycling residues that you have to do something with, and there is nothing else. The only choice is between disposing at the landfill and reusing or recovering heat or energy from it at the waste to energy plant. Also, I think that not many people know that you can actually recover metal in waste to energy plants. So you have mixed waste where you would not be able to recover metals which could be reused again. And that's what we do. We can extract metal from the bottom ash, and we can use this metal for instance, automotive industry. And the same with the bottom ash. It doesn't stay there. We use it in construction industry, or you can replace sand or gravel with the bottom ash waste. So there are other aspects about waste to energy plants that not all of us are aware of, and I think that's the main misconception is that it's a fight between, or there's this competition between recycling and waste to energy, which is totally not the case. It's a complementary thing, and it's part of the modern waste to energy system. So just these 2 points about waste to energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella, very much, and thank you for also finishing your first sentence. And I think it is important, as the knowledge and the information is something that makes those smart decisions, as you said. However, we need to understand that also the utility function of each individual may be different. So how to make that everybody has at least similar goals with regards to the environment, with regards to waste, etc. So Hans, for you, what is a smart, sustainable, circular city? Is Copenhagen already such a city?
Working on it. And then I will also repeat a bit from Lars, saying that, of course, it is about value chain, because it's not the single points you'll have to deal with. It's the whole thinking about it. And it's about partnerships, cooperations, and be integrated and be agile in your thinking. Always see new options, new possibilities, and take that. I think I'll stop here. Oh, one thing extra. We have just finalized a EU co-funded project, Force. You can find it CE-force.eu, and there you can see something about the circular thinking we have in Copenhagen, and also in Hamburg and Lisbon and Genova.
Okay, thank you for this information. And Lars, for you, what is smart sustainable city?
Yeah, I have 3 words I would like to put on the circular or the smart city. Is that it is create space, support, and educate, and it's create space for being circular. It could be the space for the repairs or the reuse or exchange of product, which Piotr mentioned. It's also support both citizens and industries in educating themselves, support initiatives which they come up. They have a lot of good ideas, and of course education. And at Stena, we are very happy to take an important role in that as well. And I motivate you to visit some of the initiatives we are taking. We have the Stena Circular Economy Award for industries and students, and right now we are running the Circular Challenge, which is for non-governmental institutions and local governmental units and schools, where we, because we have a 20 years anniversary this year in Poland, we will support the 20 best ideas with some grants so they can be implemented. This initiative is running till 20th of July. But I think it's create the space to be circular, and then support and educate the initiatives and educate the citizens and the industries. I don't know if I'm still heard.
Yeah. Fredrik, any thoughts from your side? What is a smart circular city?
Yes, that, to say it short, that must be that smart city, smart solution must be to clean the water before it is discharged, and try to use it as many times as possible. That's, I think, the bottom line.
Okay, sure. Thank you. And Piotr, you have this last word over here, and probably it will be remembered. So please, from your side, you're Polish, you're living over here. We were trying to tackle the challenge that Polish cities have, and we know. So for you, what is a Polish smart circular city, or what should look like?
So I always look at the circular city as a vision of the city of tomorrow, and so I would also distinguish smart city and circular city, because I think smart city is much more technological advancement and technological aspects of the city. And for me, circular city is the city where all the main flows of resources and the materials that are used within the city are mapped, and all the waste is as well mapped, and then there's created around that It's the creation of industrial symbiosis between different main producers or facilities, institutions that can exchange those materials to use them as efficiently as possible. And so that's my vision of the circular economy. And the basis for that is basically the data collection, that we need to collect all the data about all the flows of energy and resources and materials. And from that, then you can create all those connections between people and companies. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Piotr. And that's why I think it's still smart. I mean, you cannot make a sustainable circular city without being smart, because the technology can be really, really helpful over here. So everybody, thank you very much for all your thoughts and sharing your ideas and your experience also. I think it was a very, very good discussion. Hopefully we had a little bit more time, but I hope there will be still chance to talk on another events, and especially that they start to be in live. So it's always nice to talk also in the halls with the coffee cup in the hand. So have a great day and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right.